Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So I'm going to put a little disclaimer on this video, and I'm going to state that this video is just for entertainment purposes only. I have never once said that I knew how to dye yarn. I don't know how to dye yarn. In fact, this is only my third video I have ever made, and the third time I've ever dyed yarn in my entire life. I know nothing about dyeing yarn. I'm very uneducated in that aspect of dyeing yarn. That's not what I do. I'm a crochet designer and a crochet teacher. But I do the yarn dyeing for the purpose of, because it's fun. I don't know how to do it. I only know from what I read in blogs and watched people do, and I know other people do. Other than that, I just kind of wing it. And so entertainment purposes only. So whether you're dyeing with Kool-Aid, natural dyes, like any type of dye, or natural dyes, which I'm going to be doing in this video, please do not take my word for it. Do not think that if you do it my way that yours is going to turn out. I only did it. I would suggest you Google and read blog posts and watch videos on how to do it yourself first, like I did, because I'm probably doing it wrong, and that's okay, because as long as I'm having fun doing it, that's all that matters. And boy, is yarn dyeing ever fun. I never make yarn dyeing. I only do it for the sheer joy of it, because it's so much fun for me to do. I don't do it to sell it. So what the outcome looks like doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it's just, I kind of just experiment. It's just, I do it all wrong, and I know that. I've been told that. It's fine. That's why I said, if you decide to do it, please do the research yourself. Don't follow me. I'm not a yarn dyer. But there are many people on the internet that can give you some good advice if you read their blogs and stuff. But if you guys want to watch me do some natural yarn dyeing, it's time consuming, but it was a lot of fun. The outcome was okay. I don't know if I did it right. I'm sure I didn't. But you know what? As long as you have fun, you can't ever go wrong. Okay, here's the things I got to dye my yarn with. So I got beets, which I will cut up the beet portion and boil it down until, I guess, and then strain it. I got turmeric, which I'll put in a pot and boil to get an orange yarn. I have avocados, which you boil the seed and the skin. My husband will take care of the inside. He loves avocado. Coffee, which I will boil down and strain out. Will make my favorite color brown. Blackberries, which someone got into already. Do we have another bag of these?
Wasn't me.
Yes, it was. Do we have another bag of these?
Yeah, I think we got it.
Okay. I have blueberries, but they're gone.
Somebody got into them. I don't know who it was.
I had strawberries, but they're gone.
Livy ate those.
I had carrots, but they're gone. I'm going to use these dark cherries. I don't know if frozen is better than fresh. It's just these were cheaper, so I got these. Because since it's my first try, I decided to try with some cheap stuff. Now, I don't know about Brussels sprouts. We like Brussels sprouts here. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to boil some down and see if they turn the water color. You think it will?
No.
Well then.
I don't think it will. But
Well, it will be a surprise.
they're green, but they don't really look like they have a whole bunch of chlorophyll.
And then I'm going to be using blue spruce. This came out of my yard. So let's cut this down small, and I'm going to put it in my big stock pot.
Okay.
Down here, since that's the biggest of what we got. And start boiling it down for a while. Stems and all. You just boil it. I seen, like I said, I read a lot of articles on this on the internet, and I'll probably find more stuff to dye with. This is just, I got to get more stuff, more strawberries and more blueberries and carrots, and I got cabbage. I got red cabbage too I can use, and all kinds of stuff. But this is what I'm going to do.
Onions? Could you use onions?
Oh, onions. I got red onions
Probably
too.
wouldn't be that great to be crocheting with onion flavored yarn.
Well, I think we got some stuff to take the smell out. Tea. I got all kinds of stuff I can use, but for now I'm just going to try some of this stuff out that I looked. Someone had dyed yarn with the blue spruce, and it was like beautiful. But will it work for me? Probably not. But heck, it's going to be fun trying.
Let's just put it in here. Toss it in here. We don't even break it up. We'll just put the branches in here.
Do it, Mr. Bod. I have to boil it for hours.
Now I'm going to tell you guys that this soup recipe is all natural. Everything we use is from nature. And it looks delicious. Now this pine soup has a bit of a bite to it.
No.
So I'm gonna add some cream or something to it to kind of mellow that out.
Well, fill that up with water. Stick that on the stove. Find some more pots and put this other stuff on the stove real quick. I'm gonna clean this mess up. Now, Steven knows he's not supposed to be on the counter. Steven, get down. Get down. You know you're not supposed to be up here. Get. Alright, sorry. I know many people frown upon cats being on the counters, but they're not supposed to be. But he was interested in what was going on. That's why I jumped up here. Okay, so let's do the cherries next. I'm going to dump them all in a pot. Let's see, I got enough pots. I can probably do 6 maybe. 6 things, 5 or 6 on my stove. I'm really curious to see if these will do anything. I'm going to do the Brussels sprouts too. Okay, so what I have done so far, I don't mind my kitchen's kind of messy, but I did 2 bags of cherries, 2 bags of Brussels sprouts, a whole bunch of Bruce Spruce clippings. It's just the pine needles and the branches. I just shoved them in there when we put water. And then a whole container of turmeric is in here, and then I put it in water. Now what we're going to do is let these simmer for an hour, hour and a half, I don't know. And then we will strain them. So whenever it's time to strain, I will turn the camera back on. And then once it's all strained, I will work on my coffee, my blackberries, and everything else that I have to get colors extracted from. Okay, it's been about, I don't even know how long, 40 minutes or so. And I'm just kind of simmering my stuff. So, cherries are turning red. Brussels sprouts, you can see, are turning the water kind of green. It might take a little while.
Are those cherries?
Those are cherries. I'm going to dye yarn on this.
What is this?
This is turmeric. I think I can just take that out probably and put it in my jar and save it for when I'm ready to dye.
This?
These are tree branches, and they are actually
I want to see them.
getting the color out of the
I want
needles.
to see them.
They might take a little while, but
I want to see them.
okay, I have to lift you up, and you have to wait till I turn the camera off. Just a second. Shorty. So much steam, but anyways, the you can see the blue is now come off of them, and some of the green. Smells like Christmas in here. And these pine needles boiling, but yeah, it's actually extracting the water. It looks a bit greenish color. So I think the Brussels sprouts will probably take longer, but some of the stuff might be getting close to being ready. All right, so this is what we have so far. This is the cherry color. This is what color blue spruce makes. It's kind of brown, but you never really,
That was with the branch.
with the branches and
the
the
needles
leaves,
and everything.
you never really know what it's going to dye the yarn. I mean, really. And then we got turmeric, which is really bright, but still you don't know how bright it's going to dye the yarn. Now we're going to strain our Brussels sprouts. Just so you know, I do know I spelled turmeric wrong. I can't spell it very well. No, I didn't spell it wrong.
Check it out.
Did I? Oh, I forgot the R in it. Hey, I know what it says. So what I have is a bowl, and then I have some cheesecloth and a strainer, and he's going to dump the sprouts into the cheesecloth. They smell really good, and we won't waste this. We will eat them, don't worry. We like Brussels sprouts. Didn't get as dark as I thought. I probably could have cooked it longer. It's too steamy. Huh? Whew. Now I'll have to smash them down a bit. And
These
then,
Brussels sprouts weren't really that green. The outer leaf was green, but the inside was pretty white, so I'm not sure. They didn't have a lot of chlorophyll in it.
well,
But it had some.
you want to smash them down a
Yeah, I'll
bit?
smash them. Let me smash them with a spatula. We used to have a little crusher thing, but I don't know where it went. Like a potato smasher?
Yeah, I don't know where it went either. Also, those tree branches we washed off before we boiled them down, just so everybody knows, because I'm
Even if you did, and if you boil them, it probably kills everything. Anyway.
well, we
You don't
did.
really want a
So
bunch of dirt in it.
I don't hear nothing. We did it. All right, I'm gonna dump these sprouts out into the bowl. Okay, we got the sprouts. We didn't get a lot of get that needle out of it.
Stuff.
Liquid from them. But hey, we're gonna try grass too. Not today, but sometime. Oh yeah, that's a light.
Yeah, it's not green. I thought it would be a little greener, but you know, grass might work really good if we get some of that.
I just said that.
Did you? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
You never pay attention to your wife. Okay, this is Brussels sprouts. Remember though, just because it looks like this does not mean this is what color the yarn will be. You never know. You never know. Yeah, Mr. Bot suggests we try grass, so we're gonna do that too. Not this time around, but next time. Okay, so these are the yarns that I'm dyeing. These all come from Knit Picks. This is their stroke limmer fingering weight. As you can see, it has the sparkle to it. 462 yards, 100 grams. These are pre-wash or superwash wool, 100% wool. And this is Knit Picks woodland tweed. It's also 100 grams. It's 4-weight, 180 yards. And then we got the Swish DK, which is also a 246 yards, 100 grams, lightweight 3. It's also a super wash wool, so we don't have to worry about any felting going on. Okay, so we're gonna make the mordant, which is what you have to soak your yarn in before you soak it in your natural dyes. Some people do it together, but I read a whole bunch of articles, and it seems like more people prefer to do it separate. So I just have some water here. I don't know how much is here, a couple cups. So what you want to do is add 1 tablespoon of, what is almond? Is that what it is?
Almond. Almond.
Heaping tablespoon
Yes.
to each 100 gram skein of yarn that you're going to be soaking. Well, I'm going to be putting 2 in one pot, so I'm going to put 2 heaping tablespoons. Tablespoons of almond. Alum.
I assume it's sort of some sort of aluminum.
It says, yeah, it says it's
Natural
food
aluminum?
grade, but I don't know.
Saying
So,
give us Alzheimer's, is it?
I don't know. I've never done it before. My pan's clean. That's just scratches.
Heaping spoon.
Just, well, it said you can't get too much. It'll make your yarn sticky. But then the more almond, whatever that stuff is, the darker your yarn will be. 2? Okay, now to add to it, this is not necessary, but I read that it helped. Cream of tartar. 1 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons to every 100 grams. Since I'm doing 2 of them, do
2 teaspoons?
Teaspoon to do 3. It did say sometimes more is better. I don't know. I don't even know what this does. I'm not sure. It's my first time doing this, so it could be a big flop. Very well be. But you know what? It happens. I think we should add like a 1/4 teaspoon more almond, or what is it? Alum. It says the quarter. It says the more that the darker it gets, but it did say it can make it gummy, so you can't get too much. Now you stir this up and get it all dissolved, and then you will pour it in our big pot of water. So let me stir it up and dissolve it. I have a big pot here, which I'm going to be putting 2 100-gram skeins of yarn in, and it's got water in it. I'm going to dump my mixture of almond and cream of tartar in here because it's dissolved. And now I have 2 of my 2 hanks of wool. I wet them down, so they're already wet, and I'm going to lay them in here. And get my other one and put it in here. Just 1 second. Okay. Now I'm putting my other one. Now I know I should be wearing gloves. I don't have any. I'm not wearing any. Sorry. Okay.
Why is that stuff dangerous?
No, I mean just I don't know. I'll wash my hands. So you want to do it where it's submerged in the water. All of it. And try to make it where it won't tangle up and you can get it out pretty easy. Now you want to simmer this Don't boil. Don't boil. Just simmer for about 90 minutes in that almond.
Or longer.
Huh?
Or longer.
Or longer if you want. Sorry about my dog.
Clark's mad at Mabel. Run, Mabel, run.
And every once in a while you want to come over here with a spoon or something. And don't mix it a lot. Just kind of barely tit-tat it around, I guess. Is that what you call it? Touch it
Just
around.
agitate it a little.
Agitated it a little bit. So you don't want to mix everything up. But so I'm going to turn my burner on. And I'm going to let this go for
90 minutes or longer.
about 90 minutes. Well, you cannot, don't let it boil. Only simmer for 90 minutes. After that, you can take it off the heat and let it set in the almond mixture overnight if you want. The more of it soaks in, the more of it it'll take your dye.
So the dye adheres to the yarn.
Yeah.
From the alum and the cream of
Alum.
tartar.
I keep saying it wrong, but whatever.
Cream
Okay.
of tartar.
So that's how you do that. I'm gonna do my other skeins and then I'll come back when it's time to mix it all together.
Woo!
My, you get a mess when you start to dye yarn. I don't even know how fast stuff is. So I decided to do some blackberries too. This is 2 packs of the frozen blackberries. So I got my tweed yarn soaking in the mordant, and I got my swish dye and my sparkle dye. So there's 2 in each one. I'm going to let them simmer for 90 minutes, and I'm going to take them, turn the burner off and let them soak for a little bit longer, just without any heat. Okay, so I let this boil in what's it called? Mordant?
Yeah.
Simmer for like 2 hours. And then I had 2 skeins in here. I took one out. I rinsed them off with water. And now I'm going to pour some of my mixes in. So this is
the McCafe Joe.
Coffee. McCafe coffee. So I'm just going to let it set overnight. I have 2 of these. I made a lot of coffee. This is my one of my sparkle yarn.
Ooh,
what I did to make the coffee is I boiled just 2 cups of coffee grounds with water on the stove, and then I strained them. I didn't make coffee out in the pot. So I'm gonna heat it up, bring it to a simmer, and then take it off. Maybe let it simmer for a few minutes. Take it off and leave it overnight. And then tomorrow we'll see what it looks like. What do you think?
Looks pretty good.
I need bigger pens.
It's pretty
I need like
chocolatey.
them square pots. I love brown ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty, it smells like coffee. Okay, I'm going to do this with my other ones. I have blackberry and cherry and whatnot. I'll show you them all here in just a little bit. Okay, so here is my coffee with the fingering weight sparkle wool soaking. I think it's gonna look good. Here are my others. This one is the turmeric, and it's with that tweed bulky 5. Now I'm gonna let all these set overnight, so even though it's dark now, remember I still have to rinse and wash it, so some of the color will come out, but that is actually quite dark yellow. I mean, it's darker than what it's showing. It looks like straight up yellow mustard. It's pretty, if it takes. Now this is the blue spruce. It looks to me like it's going to be a very, very light tan, if it even takes at all. The color turned out to be looking like tea. This is sparkle cherries. Kind of looks a little gray in the video. We'll just have to see what it looks like tomorrow. This is regular DK weight blackberry. That actually looks pretty. And the Brussels sprouts did not work, so I put Kool-Aid on top of them. They didn't show no color at all. So even though this looks pretty, it does still smell like Brussels sprouts because it's setting in Brussels sprout water with Kool-Aid dumped on it. So I'm letting all these set overnight. I'm hoping that they retain a lot of the color since I'm letting them set so long. This one I'm not having too much hope for. This one either. This is kind of mad scientist conglomeration. But I really think the turmeric and the coffee might turn out the best. We'll have to see on the blackberry and the cherry. Well, I'm gonna get it out in the light. You can see it looks a little gray, but hopefully it'll darken up, and hopefully it doesn't wash off either one, or too much of it doesn't wash off. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but it'll just be a second for you. Okay, so I let them sit. It was like over 24 hours, and I rinsed them all. They all rinsed pretty good. The turmeric took a little while to rinse out, but everything else rinsed really well. So here's my cherry. It's kind of a purplish gray. Sparkles still visible. Turmeric, some places dyed a little stronger than others. I guess it wasn't that evenly dyed, but it's still a very pretty color. Coffee, I like this one's probably one of my favorites, and it smells like McDonald's coffee. This one kind of smells like turmeric. This one smells like wool. This is the blackberry, which is also very, very pretty. I kind of like the way it didn't dye even. It's got stripes of light and dark purple in it. It smells like wool. There's no smell in this. I don't know what happened to the spruce. It didn't even really dye much at all. But it does smell like a Christmas tree. So, this one, it was fun. Oh, and this was the Kool-Aid one. It's a tangled mess. It rinsed out really well. I let it sit there for over 24 hours. There was no color left in the container. It sucked up all the Kool-Aid, all the Jello, but it has to be untangled. I don't know what happened to it. So I'll have to work on this. And then once I get it all untangled, I'll show you. But it's just like I said, a conglomeration. Oh, and it kind of smells like Brussels sprouts still. Brussels sprouts / Kool-Aid. So there's that one. I will untangle that sometime and wind it up. But yeah, this is how they turned out. So my overall take of the natural yarn dyeing, it was fun. Extremely time consuming. Will I do it again? I don't know. Maybe. It took a lot of time. I'm going to keep reading and see if I can find maybe an easier way than what I did. But remember, my video was only entertainment purposes only. I don't know if you decide to do natural dyeing on your own, maybe you could read up on it and find better ways than what I did. But I definitely love the coffee, the brown. It's because it's got the sparkle. Brown's my favorite color. I like the way it still smells like coffee, just like McDonald's coffee. I love the color of the turmeric. I don't like the way it still smells like turmeric. And it didn't really evenly dye that well. Probably my fault. The cherry is very, very pretty. And it doesn't smell like cherries or anything. It just smells like wool. You can still see the sparkles. And this one's very pretty. And like I said, it don't smell like blackberries either. Some of them kept the smell, and some of them didn't. So, but that's it. I'll post that on Instagram when I get it untangled, so you guys can see. I'm curious. It's probably pretty when it's all wound up in a hank form. But thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.